Good Sunday morning to all of you. I am pulled over right now. Gonna go see Mom. I'm in Hudson, Wisconsin. And I thought I'd take time to do a Moose Minute project today. My mind right now is in many places. It's, I think, as it is for anybody else currently in the United States. I think we are going through some of the toughest times in recent history as far as disliking, name-calling, badgering, sending out false information every day, and just not telling the truth or taking accountability for spreading BS. And I'm telling you, it is truly BS. I don't care if you're right or left. I don't care. If you're going to make statements and you are going to post and make statements about this person's line or that person's line, please look at who you're trying to defend. And if somebody makes a statement to you or posts a reaction back, calling them an idiot, a dipshit, dumbass, whatever it may be, when what they're saying has a valid point to it. I'm going to get to probably 3 points. So, a lot of the discussions over the Olympics were over a boxer that supposedly people now are saying had testes and was a male and whatever may be. She was proven by the Olympic Committee to be there. She fought in Tokyo as a female boxer, and she lost. She is by far a superior boxer. She has multiple losses. She has extra chromosome. If you look it up and do your damn research, you notice there's a few people that way. There are women that have this. So take your time to look that up as well. I saw the other day on a news broadcast that a reporter actually says, oh, she's a male, there's no doubt about it, she's a he, she has testes. I was trying to find an article that even said that. There is none. It's all about chromosomes. And I am not a scientist, so I have no frickin' clue. All I can do is go off of what the IOC said, and she had every right to be there. She passed her thing. She just has extra chromosomes or whatever it may be. And is it a slight advantage? It may be. But she has been beaten, okay, before. And she fought in Tokyo. Nobody was there saying, holy crap, what's going on? So that myth to me is done. She's a female. She was a female. She fought as a female. Now, J.D. Vance comes online and says, hey, Tim Walz, heard that he was getting called up, so he retired. That myth has been dispelled by numerous occasions. His retirement paperwork was put in before the unit got called up. Neither one of them actually went to war. Okay, yep. Vance went across to Iraq in, I think, 05 and 06, or 06 and 07. 2 tours as basically an office clerk. And is it different? No. They're both veterans. They're both served our country, so I thank them. I have multiple friends that are veterans as well. I thank each and every one of you that do that and put your service to our country to where we have the ability for free speech and those kind of things. So, to me, to say somebody, because they retired after 26 years of service or 25 years of service, to not thank them as a veteran. Instead, you're trying to say he chickened out of going to Iraq, when the gentleman that you're running with was proven to be a draft dodger. And you look back at that, and it's proven that that individual said he had an injury and it was stupid to go to Vietnam, so he wasn't going. So you have J.D. Vance attacking Tim Walz for ducking out on his country. Okay? Look it up. It's facts. Don't just push the button and share. Look it up. Just kind of like the female boxer thing. Look it up. We are so dead set on name calling, degrading people, left and right. It doesn't matter. That's what we're hooked up on as a country. When we have, and then all they can focus on is the crisis at the border. I get it. It's a crisis at the border. But there again, look at the numbers. The numbers are going down in the last 2 years. Since 21, I think, or 22. Start educating yourselves. Before you just hit share on your social media or do anything else, or go along with pictures taken at rallies, because that happened when the other certain person was running back in 16, that his rallies were, and it was like, oh, that's just BS. They're just all making that up. Well, what do you think's happening now? Artificial intelligence right now on social media is splitting everybody up because nobody's taking the time to educate themselves. We're all educated people, but yet we follow each side like sheep. And if, like right now, there's probably a lot of people boiling, and they're going to name call block because we can't have a civil conversation. We can't sit down at a table. Because why? Because the leader on the right only knows how to argue or tell mistruths to make them look better. The biggest thing that I heard him say so far was, look at my debate. It was similar to those that were at Martin Luther King's speech. Oh, and it's a good speech. You know, really good speech. Martin Luther King made a statement that day about the nation in general, and I wouldn't call it just a good speech. It was a feeling of emotions and everything else as far as what was affecting the African American population at the time and where he wanted to see the nation. And then you see also labels such as black jobs. I don't know what the hell black jobs are. Americans are allowed to have employment. I don't know how I don't know white jobs to black jobs to pink jobs. I don't know what the hell it is. So to tell me, oh, that's just jobs that are available. Well, that's employment then, not black jobs. And don't tell me people are stealing black jobs and then all you mean is that it's just, you know, I was just referencing to jobs that are available at the time. So then just say they're stealing employment from U.S. citizens. Don't put a color in there. And then when you make statements that are absolutely bullshit, come back and apologize for making stupid ass shit that makes no sense. Because heaven forbid, and it happened locally just recently in Richland County. When are we going to start taking accountability or making people accountable for the BS lines and everything else? I feel absolutely terrible that this boxer had to go through all the degrading, absolute horrible comments that were made about her. And none of us have proof. I wasn't around her. I don't know. I can't imagine she's got testiculars. But According to one reporter, she does, and everybody says, oh, that's God, you know. And then everybody comment about J.D. Vance and how great he is about making the whole argument that Walls ducked out of Iraq and did not serve because he retired. He handed in his papers when he heard his crew was going to get called up. Look back at the facts. Do your research. Open your mind to other possibilities. For some reason, this country has a set guideline on what women are supposed to look like. And I'm not talking about transgender. I'm not talking about a person that was born a boy or male, if you want to call it that way, or however you want to describe, and then totally refigured their body to become female to be involved in sports. No, that's not right. I'm not saying that. I'm saying those that have the extra chromosome, which it is shown in science happens. If you think about it, it's like the deer population. Sometimes you shoot a buck. It's not a buck. It's a female with antlers. That's what yes, all the parts are there, but it's not. And it can happen in the human world. But we don't want to think about it that way. We want to listen to the Elon Musks and everybody else in this world that have billions and billions of dollars. And we don't want to talk to just a general person in general. It's kind of like if you have gay friends or anything else and you're like, you know, you're going to go to hell and all. Let them make the choice of that. But if you're going to judge people on their physical appearance or anything else like that, you're in a long road of disappointment in yourself and just overall lifestyle in general. It kind of reminds me of high school, the bullies that were always putting people down, and it was always trying to beat them down into submission and, you know, doing those things. So, yep, the jocks were the jocks, and we'll put the nerds in the corner and, you know, de-pants them or whatever you wanted to do at the time. And it's just continues to escalate. And unfortunately, you know, we have a former president that can no longer run because of his mental decline. Well, I tell you what, that one comes close to home. I am about a half hour from going to visit somebody that was one of the strongest women I'll ever meet and ever knew. And she was the fighter for me all the time. And unfortunately, she can't put a sentence together. But instead, we laugh at it because how he talked on the national news. I don't know what we expect as a country when we are having people that are running in their 70s and 80s to run our country. Because none of them know. They're all worth millions and millions and millions. Not a lot of them are too concerned about us. And I know one party for sure isn't compared or isn't too damn worried about the guy that makes 60 or 70,000 a year. Because none of us can afford to influence them. And if you're a business owner, I get some of it may be how it helps you out or how it all does that. But I don't think sometimes we have a overall work crisis in this world or in this area. I think a lot of times it is how we treat individuals in general. And it's pretty sad. We can't take responsibility for any of our actions. We have to blame, you know, if you get caught for DWI or you get caught for this or that, oh, it was a law enforcement guy just looking. Or, you know, it was this or that. And most of the time it gets turned back onto law enforcement of, oh, those assholes were out looking for it or whatever it may be. And unfortunately for that, it's because you're not mature enough to say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have had that 12 pack. And trust me, we've all drove under those conditions. Or at least I know I have. And yes, should I be doing it? Absolutely not. But if I get caught doing it, it will not come back onto the asshole officer or anybody else in that department. It's kind of like everybody complaining about the fentanyl and everything else here because it's coming. It's not all coming across from the border via a mule, okay? There's a lot of people making money on it, so it's going to do whatever it can to get it here. So that's my take today. Maybe I'm a little worked up after driving 3 hours on the interstate, or maybe I'm just worked up on people being stupid and sharing stupid shit online all the time, and I scroll by a lot of it. But it's time to do better. It really is. It's time to do better. It's time to wake up. It's time to take an accountability for who we are and what we believe in. And if we're wrong, admitting it and saying, you know what? I didn't have all the facts there and I apologize. But before I came on this and started talking about those 3 situations in general, I looked into it a lot. And if you can provide the documentation that shows that Walz did what he did, and like I said, I haven't lived in Minnesota long enough to know. I know I have friends that have lived there, and some stuff he's done is not right. Or, you know, they keep talking about the rioting and everything else that he didn't enact. However, there's now audio clips coming out, and I haven't looked into it, of Trump saying, hey, he was happy with how he handled it. Do I understand how he handled it? Absolutely not. But I was not governor at the time, and I have a feeling that if he'd have clamped down on it tight, we'd have been back to, oh, see, we can't even protest. Kind of like January 6th. Those that are bitching about Tim Walz and how he handled that and let the place burn, then somebody's really responsible for somebody breaking into the Capitol and tormenting and doing what they did. So there's both sides to every story. And sometimes the other person doesn't want to look at that side because that means, oh shit, I'm wrong. So with that said, I am going to go visit my mom. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm only about 2 blocks from where she is. Sitting out in front of a bowling alley. That's kind of fitting for me. That's a nice house here in Hudson too. They get a nice place. Been in there, checked it out. So, thank you for tuning in to the Sunday edition of the Moose Minute Project. I will be back tomorrow morning with another edition. Mowed yard all day yesterday and then went to TKO and ended up at the bowling alley getting a pizza. Ended at TKO to tell them all congratulations on their 1 year. So, it was a good night out. Got to talk to a good friend of mine for a while, and you know, him and I had the same kind of talks, and we don't talk who's voting who. I think we both know who's voting who. It's just one vote. I have one vote. I'm pretty sure anybody can guess where I am. I'm stuck voting for who I think's the better of 2 and not the actual best of 1. I wish we had normal people to vote for, but unfortunately, big money, I don't think will ever allow ordinary Joe, and not that Joe. I'm just saying ordinary, as in your $60,000 to $70,000 a year yearner to run for president. Because who the hell would want to do that for spending? You know the system's broke when you're having to raise millions and millions of dollars for a $400,000 a year job. Yeah, you get paid the whole time, and that should end too. Term limits, full-time retirement till you're dead. None of us are promised those things. So that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you guys all have a great day. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine today. 3 hours up, and then I'll have 3.5, it'll be 7 hours round trip in the truck today. And I get to swear at traffic on the interstate, so that's fun sometimes when nobody can see us. They think you're singing rock songs or heavy metal songs, so as you tell them to pull their head out of their butt or whatever it may be, or get out of the fast lane. So have a great day. Appreciate all of you. I really do appreciate so many people in my life. So have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow morning.